This clip is sponsored by Wash and Go, and that can only mean one thing. That's right, I'm surrounded by a sea of green. By now you should know that Wash and Go is the best way to look after your luscious locks. I mean, look at what it's done for mine. Fantastic. But you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at some of the 600 plus unreal reviews on their Amazon page. Linda from the United Kingdom says, well, it smells lush and leaves hair smelling fresh. Fantastic, Linda. Kindle customer JSB says, product arrived as advertised. Always very important. Always important to know that, Kindle customer JSB. And finally, my personal favourite, it's shampoo and it works for me. Absolutely fantastic there from Casey. It is indeed shampoo and also a conditioner. If you want to get your Wash and Go today, then hit the link in the description and get your bottle sent to you today. And remember, it's a shampoo and it works for me. Enjoy. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe, get involved on That's Football. You're all very, very welcome. Lots of people tuning in again. My therapy away from Manchester United. I mean, there's people in the chat actually trying to wind me up. I mean, I've been watching him all season, lads and ladies. You know, to actually get wound up about losing 4-0 to Brighton, it would have to be a one-off or a shock. It's not a shock. We've been beat by Watford. Watford are getting relegated. They scored 4 against us. Like, that's not... The sad thing is, that's not our worst performance of the season. And it was shit. It was total shit. And it's not the worst. It's probably not in our... It's probably in our top 3, to be fair, but it's not the worst. Mark, what signings do you think Spurs should make this summer? Says Ack. The main signing that Spurs need to make this summer is Conte. You need to keep Conte at the club. Because if you lose Conte, it's another rebuild. And I would go for Potter. If Conte goes, I would go for Potter. But, you know, if you can keep Conte, massive boost for you. So, you know, I think that's the most important thing. If you can keep Conte as a winner, he's not going to win you the Premier League, but you know, I think Conte will go. I think if Conte gets the offer of a job at PSG, he will go. And I think he's a very, very good manager next year, because ultimately Conte's only had a January transfer window, and it's difficult to do something in a January transfer window unless you've been planning it. Like Man City were obviously planning Alvarez, Liverpool were obviously planning Diaz, and it worked. I mean, obviously Alvarez hasn't played for Man City yet. For Spurs, you know, they wanted Diaz, and they ended up with Kulusevski and Bentancur, who've both been very good signings. But imagine what Conte could do with a full summer. So, but I think Conte will probably go in the summer. I still think he'll go even if you get Champions League football, because he'd be able to say, I went to Spurs. I mean, look, if you're Conte and PSG want you, you're going to go for many reasons. It's an easier job with a more high profile. No disrespect to Spurs, but PSG is a better job than Spurs because it's an easier job. You get more money, you get better players, and you compete for bigger trophies. Whereas at Spurs, it's a lot harder job. And if he got top 4, he could say, I managed Spurs for 6 months and I took him to 4th place and got him Champions League football. You'd be a bit of a hero anyway. So, but I look, this next 45 minutes is huge for Spurs. I expect Liverpool to win, because I expect Liverpool to win every game at the moment. But if they could somehow find a result here, then it would be massive. Please shout out Caleb. He's a big fan, says Nathan. Shout out to Caleb. I mean, Spurs have got the quality on the break. They're just not getting enough breaks on the break. Did you know that Diaz has played more games than any footballer in top flight? No, I didn't, K2. What do you mean, like actual matches? Cup of tea and biscuits, says Rose. In my opinion, ever since Ronaldo joined back, Man United have been doing bad. What did you think? Who's to blame for the poor performances? Angry Collins. It's definitely not Ronaldo, mate. He scored 18 goals in a shit United side, and he had nothing to do with the loss today. So, you know, I think only somebody who doesn't really watch football would blame it on Ronaldo, because none of the goals were on him. he had no chances. So it's not like he missed a load of chances. It's not like his link-up play was terrible. It's not like it cost us anything. So, yeah, I think Ronaldo's one of the few positives in this team this year. So, you know, United just aren't good enough. Just not good enough. Ricky's reaction is up on the that's on United Stand, by the way, to the game. If you want to check that out, Ricky, he says subbing Matic is a disgrace. So Ricky's match reaction is up on That's Football on United Stand. It's about the structure, says Rohit. Mark, where do you get the opinion that Konate was injury prone, says Ian of Liverpool? I don't like to spout completely nonsense without doing this, but United were linked to him, and I know there was a lot of concerns about his injury record. So I will read it to you now. Pre-Liverpool, his injury record was... so when did he sign for you? He signed in 2021. So in December 20... No, he didn't. He signed in... Yeah, he signed in summer 2021, didn't he? So he had an ankle injury in December, which kept him out till February 2021, the February before you bought him. In the previous July, he was out till October with a torn muscle. In the previous May, he was out for 2 weeks with a torn muscle. In the previous October, he was out for 5 months with a torn muscle. So in the year and a half before you bought him, he had 4 injuries, which were quite long. So I wouldn't say he was injury prone because he's too young to be injury prone, but he was definitely picking up a few injuries before he came to you. Because I remember United were looking at him and there was a few of our fans saying, a bit worried about his injury record. But this is one of the strengths of Liverpool. They won't sign a player who's potentially injury prone. So, yeah. Is it just me who thinks Pep's isn't as good anymore? He needs to be more rushed like Liverpool, who attack at every opportunity, unlike City, says Benji. And just tuned in, Mark, who do you think has the edge in this game? 100% Liverpool Buster. Mark, I know this is a subjective question, but how does the academy system work in the UK? Does privilege play a big role, or is it just trials and you get selected or not? Says Sharath Commit for this. Privilege doesn't play a role in football in Manchester, in England. In fact, most stereotypically, a lot of footballers in academies and throughout football history come from working class backgrounds. I would actually say that more people from, you know, less wealthy backgrounds end up being footballers. I don't know why that is. I don't know whether there's ever been any studies on it. And especially if you look in Brazil, you know, most of their footballers there come from poverty as well. Well, I wouldn't say poverty, but from poor backgrounds. So, no, I think football's not a way out, but football's a sport that's very much open to all in the UK, and if you're good enough, you'll play. There's nothing about privilege about it. If you're a good player. Games by Liverpool and Man City. Who do you think has the best chance of winning the Premier League and why? Says Angry Collins. Well, I still think Man City are favourites because they've got more points, and their running is very much it's achievable for both of them to win all their games. The big thing that would concern me, and does concern me because I don't want Liverpool to do the quadruple, is, as we've seen with Chelsea, when they lost to Real Madrid, it's messed with their heads, and it does mess with your heads. And Man City could be in that position. And look, maybe Liverpool fans don't know this, maybe Man City fans don't know this, but I'm old enough to remember Man United winning titles, but being knocked out of the Champions League in the quarter-final or the semi-final stage, and it feels flat. Even though you're going to win the league, it feels flat because you want to win the Champions League. And it can impact on your players as well as it can impact on your fans. And it's a big challenge for Man City in the next few games as to whether they can get that focus back. Because if you lose focus, even by 1 or 2%, at this level, you can get stung. And we've seen it with Chelsea, Everton, drew at United, drew today against Wolves. That percentage drop-off can cause you to drop points. And I am concerned about Man City dropping off a little bit. Hi, Mark. When is the next movie watch-along? The Jaws one was epic, says Christian. Oh, yeah, I loved it. Thursday night was fantastic. We did a film watch-along of Jaws on my Twitch channel. I don't know, 800 people watching it. It was great. So I'm going to do another one. There's some good films to pick from. And I was looking the other night, but I might just do Jaws 2 because I haven't watched it for ages. Do you watch videos on the United Stand when you're not on them, says Paul? Yes, I do. I do watch them because it's interesting to get people's opinions who I respect. So yeah, so the only United content I watch is United Stand because I don't respect anybody else's opinion. Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.